Okay, so 5-5. Day 2, part 2, completing the square. So, just a little bit different here. Now, we do have a number in front of the x squared that is not 1. Okay? So, first step is, now this is the opposite of what we've been doing. We want to set it equal to 0. So now we're going to bring it over this way. We're still going to do the same thing we did before, but to start off, we have to bring everything over to one side. Okay? So that's going to give me 10x squared minus 20, this should be an x minus 40. For some reason, one of the steps got taken out. So, sorry, one of the steps got taken out. Right in here, 1.5. Divide by a. Write that down. 1.5 divided by a. For some reason, it didn't print. It's here, but it didn't print there. I don't know why. So, we're going to divide everything by 10. Which will give us x squared minus 2x minus 4. Sorry, wait a minute. That's my bad. This should have been 30, not 40. Sorry. Silly mistake on my part. Add 6 to both sides. This should be minus 30. Sorry about that. Change that 40 to 30, my mistake. That's going to give us minus 3 equals 0. Now we're right back to what we just did in the previous section. Okay? We're going to move the constant to the other side and repeat everything we just did. So this is where it's what we just done. The only new step is getting rid of that number in front. So what's our first step? Move that over. So x squared minus 2x, there's our space, equals 3. Then we do the little trick with the half of that is -1, and we're going to square it. So we're going to add 1 here, and that's going to give us x minus 1 squared equals 4. And then we're going to square root both sides. X minus 1 equals plus or minus 4. What? Huh? Yeah, thank you. Plus minus 2. Brain going down. I just need you to pay attention. So plus minus 2. Then we write x minus 1 equals positive 2. X minus 1 equals negative 2. Add 1, we get 3. Add 1, we get negative 1. So those are two answers, 3 and negative 1. Say what? Right, this is exactly the same as we were just doing, except we got a new starting step. Okay? So, here we go. Is the number in front of x squared 1? No, it is not. So we have to do these bonus steps at the beginning. We're going to move the 2 over. That gives us 5x squared minus 20x minus 60 equals 0. What do we do now?
Divide by 8.
Get rid of the 5. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. Technically we divide by 5 here, but it doesn't do anything. So that gives us x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. And now we're right back to what we learned earlier. Move the negative 12 over here. X squared minus 4x, leave a space, equals 12. We do the little shortcut trick. Squared equals 12. We take half of b, we go past the squared number, we square it and get plus 4 on both sides. Remember, negative 2 squared is plus 4, not negative 4. So that will give me x minus 2 squared equals 16. Now I square root both sides. X minus 2 equals plus or minus 4. And now I break it up. X minus 2 equals positive 4. X minus 2 equals negative 4. When I add 4 to both sides, I get 6 here. And I get negative 2 here. Okay? Second example. We have a number bigger than 1 in front of the x squared. So we have to start by moving this over. Now, I will tell you honestly, this is actually really hard to do in Algebra 2 because they're not this friendly. Not all the numbers are divisible. For Algebra 1, it's not that bad. All the numbers end up being divisible by 7. All these numbers were divisible by 5. The first one, they were all divisible by 10. Not that bad. It's a little bit more challenging when you get to Algebra 2. Right now, we're going to move this over and get 7x squared plus 14x minus 21 equals 0. Notice they're all divisible by 7. So we do that. Divide everything by 7. And we get x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. And now we're right back to the previous lesson. We're going to move this 3 over here. We're going to leave the space and we're going to draw it. We're going to do our little trick. Half of 2 is 1. We come by here. 1 squared is easily just 1. So we're going to plus 1, plus 1. And that's going to give us x plus 1 squared equals 4. And now we're going to square root both sides. X plus 1 equals plus or minus 2 again. I did write that down. Now we just do it twice. X plus 1 equals 2. X plus 1 equals negative 2. Subtract 1. X is 1. Subtract 1. X is negative 3. Okay, so there's a 9 in front, which means we got to start with everything equal to 0. So we move that over, subtract 9. We're going to give you 9n squared minus 18n minus 72, which nicely is divisible by 9. Otherwise, we wouldn't give it to you. So these are all divisible by 9. That gives me n squared minus 2n minus 8. Now, we're going to move this over like we did before. N squared minus 2n, leave a space, equals 8. Now we do our shortcut. Half of negative 2 is negative 1. Remember, it is negative 1. It's not positive 1. It's half of this number. We come by here and square it, which is plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. That gives me n minus 1 squared equals a nice perfect square of 9. Square root both sides. N minus 1 equals plus or minus 3. And now I just bust it up into two problems. N minus 1 equals positive 3. N minus 1 equals negative 3. Add 1 to both sides. N equals 4. N equals negative 2. And I'm done.